My eyes feel like they're gonna bleed right up and bulging out my skull. Ooh, yeah. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the rock show. Well, gonna that. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the rock show with kind of arrow. Yeah. Show me the down and on day. And I'm down on my knees again. And I'm down on my knees again. And I'm bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Boom, 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 Chris Cornell. I've been singing around. Boom, 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 audio slave. Boom, 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 I rave. Doom, doom. Boom, boom, boom. Audio slave. Okay, rock show, kind of Farrell. Brain Stew by Green Day. Dun 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 dun. Killing myself to live. So there's Killing Myself to Live by Black Sabbath. There's Brain Stew by Green Day. And then there's waiting for the break of day. Running light years in the sky. Dun, 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 dun. 25 or 6 to 4. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Bam, ba, bam. Ba, ba, dum, ba. Bam, bam. Bum, 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 bum. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. So there's Brain Stew by Green Day. There's Killing Myself to Live off of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, I believe, by Black Sabbath. And that's Brain Stew off Insomniac or whatever it is by Green Day, like their fourth record. I forget. This one's Collage. It's before Shenanigans. And then 25 and 64 by Chicago, I believe, off Chicago 3. It's the silver album cover. But it's all the dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Na 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 na. And then I wrote a song where it goes. Da 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 da. No 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 no. No 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 no. No 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 no. No 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 no. The goal with that song, it'll probably come out like a year from now, if it does ever. But I was gonna make it Wolverine. It was gonna be like about Wolverine, the same way there's a don't need no Superman. Boom 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 no Superman. It's gonna be a song, pop culture song about Wolverine, Canadian, as a fellow Canadian. Canadian. I need to make the song about the Canadian. It's good. It's very long-winded and weird. It like has a lot of parts. Like it goes into a guitar solo. And then there's a part. Oh, so here's the whole point. It's the same chord progression. It sounds incredible. You can use it. But so that's why I'm not worried. I'm like, oh no, I'm using a chord progression. I'm using the chord progression from another song. I'm ripping it off. You're like, no, you're not. First off, it's obvious. Second off, Sabbath did it. Then Chicago did it. Then Green Day did it. And I don't think any of the other bands paid each other things for that. Because really, it's not the same thing. The same way that like Led Zeppelin doing a line cliche on "Stairway to Heaven," like it's a line cliche. You don't own line cliches. Line cliche means you have a chord, and then one note moves down, and then it moves down again, and it moves down again, and moves down again, and so all the chords are just the same chord, but with one note shifting down each time. You don't own that. That's called a line cliche. There's a name for it because all of the composers and all the songwriters have done that. Everyone does that. It's a thing that people do. It's like trying to copyright the blues scale. It's like, no, that's a thing we do. It's a thing people do. It's things writers use. It's not like yours. You didn't come up with it. It's not like, oh, you're the blues scale guy. Yeah, no one else plays the blues scale. You play the blues. It's like, no. Everyone does it. It's like, oh, you're the major chord guy. It's like everyone uses major chords. You're like, you're the minor chord guy. You're like, everyone uses minor chords. Like, you're the jazz guy. Like, define jazz. Thank you. In terms of arrangement, you can probably kind of define jazz. In terms of composition, it's like, well, it's got blankety 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 blank. You're like, you could have a rock band do that and produce it as a rock record. And you can make it sound like a jazzy rock song. Doesn't sound like jazz. Oh my god. There's two things. There's the melody and the chord progression. Let's call it like the songwriting. And then there's the sound, the fingerprint of an artist. This is why Limp Bizkit can cover Faith, the chords and melody by George Michael. But George Michael's fingerprint and Limp Bizkit's fingerprint are very different. So it's a very different song. Even though technically it's the same song writing, the two combined are different songs. So you take the composition, but with a different fingerprint, it's a different effect. It's a different thing entirely. So that's the funny thing is seeing all these producers, like guys on YouTube, make these great things where it's like, what if blank made this song? Or how to make a song like blank. And what they know how to do is create a fingerprint. They know how to identify different fingerprints, how to recreate different fingerprints. And so then the trick becomes as an artist, what's going to be one of your fingerprints? You don't have to always commit to the same sound, but bands typically have a fingerprint. And it's a good thing because no one can write a different song, really. We have the same 12 notes, the same scales, and even if you're playing around with scales, you're playing around with it in a way that someone's done before. So nothing can ever be wholly original. So another way to make things very distinct, like if you hear something with the fingerprint of corn, you're like, oh, they're doing a corn thing. You hear something with the fingerprint of a Limp Bizkit, like Significant Other type song, you're like, oh, that's clearly that. And so likewise, if you can have a distinct sound, a distinct fingerprint, good. Now let's get into an example. Something I want to talk about on this episode was the Misfits. See, the Misfits, I like their songwriting, but their mixing on the early stuff is kind of bad. I'm not talking about Famous Monsters. I'm talking about stuff with Danzig. That's the stuff I actually like. The other stuff is cool, but I really like the stuff with Danzig. Like, da, 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 darling, darling, da, 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 with a one last caress. Like out summer saying, do, don't come out any day, and it, little man, how much to me, as long as you play. I like the idea that it's like kind of 50s love song, rock song, 50s, 60s love song, rock song type thing. But the lyrics are all about like totally messed up stuff, like ripping out babies from wombs. It's overly edgy to the point where like, oh, it's not even like scary or edgy. It's almost like making a mockery. It's just a juxtaposition of two distinct, like, different things to the point where it's like, oh, this is a thing you wouldn't experience otherwise. Because a love song, you wouldn't get this emotion, and just like a horror movie, you wouldn't get this emotion. But if you sing horror movie content as a love song, it's just funny. It's good. It's good. And so lyrics is another way you can be original. And so, and like what you approach things. And then visually, of course, you're going to have a visual style. But it's kind of funny because the Misfits have a fingerprint, like that earlier stuff. 70s Misfits have a good fingerprint. And yeah. It's cool. And then I really like this band, Witchfinder General. I recommend you go listen to Witchfinder General and Friends of Hell. I believe those are the two records. Let's pull it up. Pull that up, Jamie. Witchfinder General band. Oh, it's Death Penalty. Dude. Epic. So you've got Death Penalty and Friends of Hell. Dude, Witchfinder General is so cool. And I think they took where Sabbath was and they kept going with it. The problem is I think their mixes are kind of garbage. And I think if you would have swapped the singer out for someone like Mike Kerr from Royal Blood, like if you took the exact same songs, but like, I don't know what it is. Maybe the kick drum has too much like mid-range on it or something. I don't know. But there's something in the mix where like, oh, like if you had the stems, you could have someone remix this and it would sound incredible, especially with like modern technology. But then the other thing is the performance of the vocalist, just the sound, the way he's singing his melodies. The melodies are great. The lyrics are great. A lot of the character is great. But he's trying to do like this thing that I don't know. I just don't like it. But I think if we took the exact same songs, like to keep the guitars identical, you know what I mean? And then just have like Mike Kerr from Royal Blood or like Nat Bellamy from Muse sing it. Oh my God. I think you have what's probably like my favorite records then. And also if you can streamline some of the songwriting and kind of make it fit a little bit more into like, I think if you took the aesthetic and the fingerprint of the Witchfinder General stuff, but you use the song structure of like Royal Blood or like just more conventional, like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, double chorus, you know what I mean? Out. Just standard, like if you did it more pop like, you know, because even look at System of a Down, like Sugar and a lot of that stuff is like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro, or just bridge into outro, right? Like a lot of, like just do that. I think if you had more if you streamlined it to that instead of like less prog structure, and then you add the singer, not go for what they're going for, keep the melodies the same, but like don't try and sing it in that like vocal like style, do a different vocal style. And so yeah, I think, but that's honestly like low key. There's lots of stuff I like for Black Licorice, so that's my band, and I want to figure out the fingerprint. I have the songwriting part pretty easy. Um, and so it's like, what's that fingerprint? And so eventually, like, that's the thing I'm going to look at first, figuring out when I work with a producer. But I definitely want to be like, I like what they're doing with Witchfinder General, like a lot. And then, like, guitar wise, and like just the swagger of it. And then, so I like that. I like that. I like that fingerprint kind of. That's a good place jumping off with it, especially with guitars. And then there's some other bands I kind of like, just seeing like their fingerprint, well, at least. I'm like, how would these mesh? Like, if I did, this is how I do, like, and I'm talking about like sometimes like bands put a ton of like delay and reverb on the vocals. Sometimes they put distortion on it, like a lot of like punk bands. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that like this doesn't. You're not copying a band. You're just looking at, oh, they put distortion on the vocals, and they have one guitar that's really tinny and clean, and the other one is like super distorted, and then they have a bass that sounds like this with a bunch of effects. Like, it's the choosing of how do you change the tone of each of the instruments and have it go together. And through different parts of a song, when you have things come in and out. I think a really practical example of that is Weezer. Weezer on the first record, it's pretty much like verse, turn the volume level down on your guitar, have one guy just hit kind of like root note power chords of whatever the chord is, and then you have the other guy kind of play like a pretty little lead thing. And then when it gets to the chorus, and the drummer isn't like crashing, hitting the crash, you know what I mean, in the ride, the big loud things. So it gives room, it gives space, it can feel kind of chill. Then all the guitarist has to do is turn the volume up, still with the distortion pedal on, but now they've turned the volume up, it's going to actually distort like crazy, be big and loud wall of guitar. And this person can hit the big loud things and open up the hi-hat, right, the drummer. And then everyone joins in. Instead of just like one person singing, you have main vocal and you got backup vocals and all that stuff. That's a very simple example of like what's the difference between a verse and a chorus for each of the instruments, right? And then it's pretty clear with like Weezer, it's like just put distortion on, have two different guitars and two different amps so they sound different. And then that's kind of the trick, right? And so that's their like fingerprint on that record. Then the second record, I don't know, but it sounds amazing. I love the way the second Weezer record sounds, but I like the swagger and style of Witchfinder General, and I like the structure of Royal Blood and early System of a Down, and more the lyrical styles of System of a Down. And then beside that, I really like Billie Jean and like Beat It, like the Michael Jackson hits with guitar on it. Like, I think that's kind of my like thing. If I could do like C standard guitar stuff like Witchfinder General and Queens of the Stone Age and like a lot of bands, I really like playing in C. Like, it feels good. Black Dahlia Murder has stuff in C. It's like death metal, but still, I just like that. I like more like Tim Burton-y, like Danny Elfman soundtrack melodies, like the Batman soundtrack, but I like the guitar sounds of like Witchfinder General, and I like playing in like the drop tuning, like the low keys of like Queens of Stone Age, Witchfinder General, a little bit of System of a Down. This is me publicizing my personality, getting you guys to know kind of like, like, oh, what is he listening to? What is he like listening to? This is a chill episode. But yeah, hopefully some music recs in there too. So let's take guitar sounds, kind of like Witchfinder General, go for Witchfinder General thing. Tuning, C standard. But I like just the upbeat nature of like a Michael Jackson, like throw in some of that like groove. I want it to be dancey. You know what I mean? I like Franz Ferdinand danceability and Arctic Monkeys early record danceability. Like, I like that. I want it to be dancey, like Arctic Monkeys, Franz Ferdinand. I want to have the guitar like sounds and aesthetics, and kind of little flourishes of Witchfinder General. I want to kind of have the groove like a Michael Jackson, like Beat It or Billie Jean. And then, yeah, C standard. And then the lyrics, I guess it's where I'm the most open to like what I want to do lyrically. I would also like the structure of Royal Blood. So that's kind of like the stuff. And then like if you take like Animals by Nickelback, I like that song structure too. And then like like Main Skin. I wanna be a slave. I wanna be a master. Main Skin has like kind of their formula. And it's very similar. It's pop formula, but like the Killers. And then you've got Olivia Rodrigo, which I think mixes kind of like the Main Skin Killers kind of sound and the Weezer kind of sound. It like mixes those together, and then it adds some more modern pop production stuff there too. Like a little bit of some. Can you break my heart? Da, 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 kind of like that production stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of like stuff, but I think in general, like what I want like the distinct Fingerprint to be, I like the guitar kind of sounds of Witchfinder General, but then I also do like early Tool, like if you listen to Opiate, like Cold and Ugly, Stinkfist, like a lot of that kind of stuff. And again, I'm a hunter and a fisherman, and I'm trying to remember when, but it makes me dizzy, sweating, I'm breathing, stay, living, and learn, and then alone, and then seems like I've been here before, seems so familiar. Seems like I'm living into a dream within a dream. So well, it's a world, yeah, yeah. Oh, likes me home. Damn. Oh, dude, that's such a great song. Listen to I believe it's Stinkfist. It's like the first or second song off of Tool's EP from like 1992, Opiate. Opiate is the EP they did before Undertow, their first album. In like I think Undertow is 93 or 94, and then Opiate is 91 or 92. But it's just funny to think they're playing at like 924 Gilman Street up in Berkeley, where like Green Day and Rage Against the Machine, and I mean I think Rage played there, but like I know Green Day definitely played there, Operation Ivy, and then fucking I swore. Sorry, it's late enough into the episode. Witchfinder General, no, Tool played with Green Jello, which changed their name to Green Jelly, and they're the ones who have the album where it's all music videos with each song. Little pig, let me in, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. So Green Jelly's got friggin' Three Little Pigs song. That's cool. Tool's got Opiate from around that time with Stinkfist, I think. Let me just pull it up. I swear it's not Stinkfist. It's got to be something different. Opiate. Watertongue. It's Sweat. Sweat. It's the first song. Sweat is really good. Fourth song is Cold Ugly. They go, get that Bob Marley wannabe mother effer out of here. It's incredible. Go listen to Opiate by Tool, the EP. That's another thing. The Fingerprint's good, but the mix is bad on Opiate. I have to turn it up so loud. The mix is so bad. No. I'm sorry, engineer Sylvia Massey and Steve Haskin, but like, I just can't listen to it in the sense that like it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear what's happening. But Opiate is so good. Sweat is really good. Cold and Ugly is really good. I honestly, I barely listen to the other songs because I love Sweat and Cold and Ugly so much. I just want to listen to them over and over and over again. So Sweat and Cold and Ugly off of Opiate by Tool in 1992. I was correct in 1992, March 10th, 1992 it came out. So Opiate's really cool. Turn the volume up on that. But yeah, like some stuff like Opiate and System of a Down. I love like that guitar tone. Mixed with Queens of Stone Age has some really sick guitar tones at points. And then, yeah, so Opiate and System of a Down, that is cool guitar tones. Queens of the Stone Age, check out I know Songs for Death is objectively their best album, but I love the like fairy tale, Tim Burton, dark, twisted vibes of Lullabies to Paralyze. Lullabies to Paralyze, and then Eras Vulgaris is really good for when you say F it. I don't care if I feel bad, if I have existential terror. You're like, I don't care. I can do whatever I want. I can party it away. And I don't mean like you just drink and do drugs, but I mean, whatever way you're like, screw it. You can play and have fun and do whatever, joke around. Yeah, so I like so check out Era Vulgaris and Lullabies to Paralyze from Queens of the Stone Age. Check out Opiate by Tool. Check out the self-titled System of a Down records, the one with the red hand. It might be a gray hand or a beige hand, depending on what you find it. And then, Witchfinder General, I like the guitars from that. I like the song structure, though, of like Royal Blood. Just kind of more formulaic pop. And then I love the danceability of like Michael Jackson, Franz Ferdinand, Arctic Monkeys, early Franz Ferdinand, early Arctic Monkeys. So the first Franz Ferdinand album, Franz Ferdinand, are self-titled, and then Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not by Arctic Monkeys. Arctic Monkeys, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not. Franz Ferdinand, that's the danceability, and then like Beat It and Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, that danceability. I want that. Guitar tones, though, I like the Franz Ferdinand Arctic Monkey kind of like plunky, clinky guitar, plunky, not punky. Plus juxtaposing that with like System of a Down and Tool and the Witchfinder General, a little bit of some Queens of the Stone Age. Okay. So that's good. And then vocals, yeah, I like the vocals. Royal Blood, I like the vocals. I mean, I really like the vocals from a lot of stuff, but I'll figure out what I do with vocals. I'll kind of like, it's more lyrics, because once I get good lyrics, I can sing it however it comes out. And just change how I'm doing it. I like to approach vocals, or this is the way that I find like I get out of my head. For me, like I know my voice can do like whatever I need it to do, but it's more of a psychological thing of like being like, I don't know, like am I going to perform? It's like working out in the gym. Like some days you're like, I don't know. You're second guessing the weight, and you're like, no. If I'm going to bench press, I need to not be second guessing. I need to go and do it. Because if I go and do it and I know I can do the weight, I'm not going to get injured. But if I'm going, I don't know, what if I get injured? Then you get injured. Well, you don't, usually, but still. And so if I'm like, I don't know if I can sing that, what if I hurt my voice? And it's the same thing. You're like, no. You need to get out of it. I need a psychological problem, not a technical. I need a psychological solution, not a technical solution. And so that's where it's funny, because then you look at little stuffed up today, like always. Yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about, psychological solution is Mike Patton from Faith No More. He approaches vocals like doing voices. And you can see that sometimes Serge Tankian from System of a Down does the same. And so if you approach vocals like, you want it all, but you can't help it. Like if you're just doing silly voices, you're not thinking in your head. You're just like do a silly voice, and then you can slip into doing really good stuff. Another trick I use is I go yawn and sing out there, but then start singing the words, and then start saying all of the syllables, saying all of the syllables. So I start by yawning. Start by yawning. I sing up and I'm yawning. That really works for, let's say, Caged Elephant, and that gets me usually in a good spot. Let's say Caged Elephant. So, we're back against the wall. I got no other place to hide. Change out. I'm as a sitting duck just waiting for the fall. You got my back against the wall. So the real trick is low notes are easy and lower stuff is down here. If I was singing Frank Sinatra. It would be closer to here. If I'm singing later Arctic Monkeys, it would be down here. I would be down here, be down here. So it's easy to be down here. It's very easy to talk, kind of in the middle low range. And then to be up high. Oh, yawning, yawning falsetto. But it's in between where it gets kind of hard. It gets kind of hard to be in between where you wanting to be, in between, in between. Oh, you can go Crisco now. In the middle, I'm sitting in the middle, sitting in the middle, sitting in the middle, sitting in the middle. So you can sit in the middle. So getting in the middle there is kind of hard. So my trick is, I know I can talk and say all of the words and enunciate every single part of the thing. And I know I can enunciate the words and then every part of the thing, and then I'm doing it. So my trick is, I'd say just yawn, and sing it up here, yawning, yawning, yawning. And again, I'm a fisherman. And then I go, enunciate every single syllable of the lyrics. So let's go to Sweat by Tool. I'm going to click and see if the lyrics will pop up. So I'm going to start by yawning. So lots of oxygen. Oxygen is the fuel. The name of the game is you want to trick yourself into having a lot of oxygen. If you can practice it, good. But starting out, I like to trick myself to compensate for my lack of proficiency as a singer and a vocalist, my lack of preparation and training and years of dedication. So I'm yawning. And the first couple lyrics, I'm sweating. I'm sweating and I'm breathing and staring and thinking and sinking deeper. It's almost like I'm swimming. The sun is burning hot again on the hunter and the fisherman. I'm trying to remember when, but it makes me dizzy. So I'm gonna yawn. And then I'm gonna start enunciating the words. And before I know it, if I just focus on trying to enunciate the words and keep yawning, I do it. Let's go. I'm sweating, I'm breathing, I'm staring, I'm thinking, things like the sun burning hot again on the hunter and the fisherman, and I'm trying to remember when, but it makes me dizzy. Wait, what is it? I'm starting the wrong spot. Sweating, breathing, staring, thinking, and thinking, like I'm swimming. Seems like I've been here before. Seems so familiar. Okay, here's a bad example. I'm not really doing it. Okay, regroup. Cage, the elephant. Let's see. Back against the wall lyrics. We're freezing up. Tonight I have a look and try to find my face again. I try and get softer. Softer actually helps me. It's very easy to move around softly. So let's do this again. Good time for my face again. Barry balloon this hard, my spirit screams and dies again. I'm back a monster as a clock of paisley leather. On TV screen, I fall into my knees. I said you got me when you want me again, and I can't turn away. And you are up there and I'm feeling like a fall. I'm stuck in between the shadows of my yesterday. I wanna get away, I need to get away. Blanket of silence makes me wanna sink my teeth in deep. But all the evidence of fabricated disbelief. Pull back the curtains, look into your eyes. My tongue has now become a platform for your lies. I said you got me where you want me again, and I can't turn away. I'm hanging by a thread and I'm feeling like I'm full. I'm stuck in between the shadows of my yesterday. I wanna get away, I need to get away. Now you know, yeah, I've got my back against the wall. Okay, I ain't got no other place to hide. chained down like a sitting duck, just waiting for the fall. You know, yeah, you got my back against the wall. So that's me brute forcing it, thinking about every single word. The best thing for me, at least with guitar and with this, is once you practice something and you know the lyrics, you know the melody, you're used to it, it's being able to let go and lose yourself in a flow state. So if I did that, it'd be, tonight I have a look, try to find my face again. Buried beneath this house, my spirit screams and dies again. I'll back a monster as a poker cloak of Persian leather. Beyond TV screen, I'm falling to my knees. I said you got me where you want me. Yeah, and I can't turn away. I'm hanging by a thread and I'm feeling like a fool. I'm stuck here in between the shadows of my yesterday. I wanna get away. I need to get away. Blanket of silence makes me wanna sink my teeth in deep. But all the evidence so fabricated disbelief. Pull back the curtains, take a look into your eyes. My tongue has now become a platform for your lies. I said you got me where you want me again, and I can't turn away. I'm hanging by a thread and I'm feeling like I'm full. I'm stuck here in between the shadows of my yesterday. So I'm out of the flow state now. I just kind of got there when I was in the beginning, a little bit tired, a little bit like, oh, I don't want to push my voice too much, don't want to lose my voice, don't want to have to do vocal rest because I want to be able to podcast and do stuff. But out of that, I start with what's the way I can do it with the least amount of like pressure and air and tension and like pushing, and kind of focusing on that. So this is an untrained vocalist just trying to approach things and work backwards from what I know about guitar and what I know about sport physiology, working out, things like that. Don't know if people are calling for me. They're doing stuff. Oh, look, we're going to make it to 50 minutes. Yay, it's going to be a full episode. I can call it here, though. I'm thinking. But yeah, so what did I recommend? So I was talking about the fingerprint. So I'm working on this fingerprint idea. Once we got the show at the next level, I'm going to work with some people. But that's the whole thing is like I'm figuring out this process, like the new like artistic kind of process. Because kind of as a band, you would like figure out your style by playing together with the different people. But now that like playing shows and getting a band together is kind of not really step one to like being successful in music as a rock star. Step one is like podcast. It's more like how do you set up your ring light and use riverside.fm and get your Focusrite audio interface and your microphones, and how do you check the levels in your audio, and how do you make a logo real quick and like whatever you want, and how do you open your episode, and how do you eventually like make a little intro, how do you use recording software, like that's kind of step one. Then second is like, kind of like write songs, write lyrics, be inspired. But then third is like, okay, now when I want it to be recorded and I want it to sound good, how do I actually do that? And so it's like working with a producer, an audio engineer, that kind of type of person, and being like, okay, this is what I like, these things. Let's see if we can put them together and make a unique sound using all of these different pieces of other fingerprints I like. And so how do I make my own unique fingerprint? And so I'm exploring going through that process with you. Same with like the art direction and the vision, and what do the visuals of the show look like? That's all stuff I want to work on. But starting out, it's kind of the beauty of it is I'm starting with just in my bedroom with a microphone. I'm looking at the second camera, which you never get to see. You can see it if you'd like. Just text me. I'll let you see it. But I'm looking in the second camera right now, and I can see there's the door behind me. Maybe you can see some other stuff. You can see the lamp. You can see the hanging cables and stuff from the TV. But the whole point is you're seeing it. This is bare bones, and I'm just starting by doing it. The same way it's nice to look back at Joe Rogan's podcast and see like it's all grainy videos, them just hanging out in a garage, like, and then over time you're able to get to see the journey of building these things. And so you're joining me on the journey, right? So this is the first steps of the journey, right? You got to meet my mom the last 2 episodes. You got to see her. She's a pretty cool gal, pretty cool gangle. And you got to see me probably loosen up a little bit, have a little more fun, just be a little more calm, a little more relaxed. Get to use the restroom. Anyways, just goofing around, just messing around on the camera, just goofing. Anyways, I really got to use the restroom. But yeah, you're going to see me build up the visual style, the fingerprint, how I go through doing that. And so you guys can know how to do that too. You guys can see how I'm building the podcast, how I'm doing things, and I'll share that with you. Not only on the podcast. So here's the thing: it's by rockers for rockers. It's by rock stars for rock stars. And any fan who listens, you can be a rock star. You just have to choose, right? It's weird when you realize you're a rock star. Because it's not when you're playing the Giant Stadium. It's not when you're doing all this stuff. It's before that. At some point, you realize, oh, I'm a rock star. Even if other people don't know it yet. But by the time they do, you've already known. So it's kind of interesting seeing, like, there's a point where you go, oh, I am a rock star. And so everyone listening, most people probably don't know it yet. You might be a rock star. It's the show, the kind of main audience is not only rock fans, but it's rock stars and future rock stars. It's rock stars, and then, people, out of those rock stars, it's the people who are going to start podcasting, become successful rock stars, or get on these podcasts. Because here's the thing: is like not every rock star is going to have a podcast, want to talk to camera, but those of us who are, we're going to be able to bring the people who don't like podcasting on. We're going to be able to expose people to their music. What are their influences? What do they like? What's their approach? How are they changing up for this next record? Are they doing an album? Are they doing a bunch of singles? How do they approach doing that then? What's the style? What's like the artistic thing they're able to do with that? What makes it cool? What are the lyrics about? What are they want to work with a director? Like a TikTok, someone who makes TikTok videos and does this stuff. Who's their editor? Like, who's really doing that cool visual stuff? Who are they really looking? What are they excited about? What are they excited about with other people's careers and what they're doing? Who inspires them currently? Who's currently active and is doing exciting stuff? And then what are they doing that excites them and what inspires them? And that's the whole thing about the show is like we're looking at taking the rock stars and defining what is the new rock star experience. What is the new rock lifestyle? The new rock lifestyle is doing a podcast and coming together and working with all these artists. It's turning into rock and roll meets film, meets fashion, meets video, photography, meets graphic design, meets audio engineering, right? Meets live versions of all of those things, right? Meets maybe prop design, meets guitar design, meets all of these things are actually you as an individual. You build this Rockstar platform so that you've publicized your personality, your mission, what things you like, what you're doing, bringing back rock and all of these things. And you're able to wave the flag and say, come here. We're able to assemble and we're able to lift each other up and find more of us because there's infinite of us out there. Maybe not, now, but like there is in the history of the world. And let's say eventually they get to the point where like, okay, if it doesn't, don't even need to. Here's the thing. There are billions of people on this planet who love rock. Until every single one of them knows about all the different artists, all the hundreds of thousands and millions of rock stars that there's going to be in the next couple of years, until they know, there's good work to be done. There is someone out there who likes your music, by definition. By definition. And the more music you make and the better it gets, the more feedback you get, and the more you tweak it, the more people you work with, the more likely there are people who are going to like your music even more, and more of them. And eventually, you're a rock star. So if you want to be a rock star, it's a choice. You hop on the mic, or you get one of your friends to. But the only thing you can guarantee is that you're going to do something. You can't guarantee anyone else is ever going to do anything in this life. So you do it. You hop on. You start talking. You come on the rock show. Your friends come on the rock show. You guys go on each other's show. You join the 701st. You become the big rock star podcasters. You're waving the white flag. All the rock fans come here. All of rockdom is united. And not just around, all rock fans are going to like the rock show. They're really going to like Connor's personality, the overbearing, kind of annoying thing that I've got going on. They're not really going to all jive with my swag. The whole idea is you've got all of the different personalities. Everyone else, right? It's me and the 701st. The 701 rock podcasters, they're going to like probably at least 7 out of the 700. That they're going to like their music, they're going to like their thing, or at least like some of their guests they're bringing on, right? And so out of millions and billions of people, 700 rock stars, it's very simple. So 701st, I know you're listening. You, Timmy 700, Timmy the Rockstar. Keep on trucking. Start podcasting. Do it every day. Do it once a week. Do whatever. Hit me up. You want to be on the show? Hit me up. Okay. Lovely hanging out with you guys today. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Go check out that music. You know what music. But yeah. On the journey. That's what you're getting to watch here. Getting to watch the show. The rock show. Yeah, and if you're a singer, I hope some of that was useful, and if not useful, at least entertaining to some extent. It could be. Bye-bye. I gotta go now. I really gotta use the restroom. Okay, bye.